if you're not used to, and I was thrown in this situation when I first started in this job, if you're not used to, I guess, not knowing what to do with your hands, I've created a bit of a habit with what I do. I hold things in my hand. If you guys have already picked that up already, as opposed to with me nothing in my hands, I found it difficult not what to do with them. So I eventually start with a pen, but this is just my notes at the moment. But I need to hold something. This is probably not ideal because you guys can see me waving this around, but I just hold something simple as a pen. They just help me. I don't know whether it's going to help you or not, but just an idea that if you're not comfortable, talking in front of a group, all right, with, I guess, not knowing what to do with your hands while you're talking, just at least something that helped me to start with was just hold something small in my hand, and I could just hold it as I was talking. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it there in regards to, I guess, non-verbal versus verbal communication. Alex, do you want to say something?
No, basically.
Oh, you gave me.
I gave.
You set up a yeah.
Pause for dramatic effect, really.
All right, let's move on to, I guess the sessions now. As everyone, I did print out a whole bunch of copies of our session plan of last year's QBA. They're going to be very similar in regards to the setup or the layout. I've got copies and examples printed out. Oh, that's cool, yeah. And what we're going to do now is just to help, I guess, you guys go through, I guess, what we're trying to achieve here within the QBA in regards to coaching side of things. So I guess we're going to go through with your session or your certain activity, I guess, how to set out your certain activity. Okay, so there's 3 stages. You've got your time management. Let me write this up because I haven't got a copy. So within each session, you've got time management, and I'll explain what that is in a second. You got instruction, and then you got feedback. All right, can you guys give me some examples? I guess you've been handed your session plan. I know you haven't had a good chance to have a look at it, but let's just throw in a situation which most people are. You're going to run a fielding activity, or you're taking care of fielding today. So in regards to time management, all right, what can you start putting in plan or start the process with time management? What could you start doing at that stage? Does that sort of make sense with what I was asking there?
Work out if it's half the session or a third of the session.
Yeah, so you got your time frame. So you need to establish your time frame, which I think in that session plan, I think there might be a time frame for a certain activity. So I guess, yes, you need to know the time frame. What else in regards to time management?
How many plays you actually going to run the program?
Yeah, how many players you have? Yep, there we go.
How many breakout groups?
Sorry?
How many breakout groups you might have within that?
What do you mean breakout groups, sorry?
In other words, if it's, would you say fielding?
Yep.
So you might have one
Different
lot
activities.
on the 3, 6 Fs.
Yeah, right, different activities, yeah. So group management,
Yeah.
so smaller groups. Anything else? Equipment's another one. Okay. Biggest thing, and Batesy, you brought it up a little bit earlier. I guess I'm not going to write it down because it takes too long, but just understand the training age and what you're trying to achieve. Okay, so when I say training age, that sort of makes sense. If I say training age, so how long has that person been involved in baseball? Okay.
For the long-term athlete development model that we had up on before.
Okay, so I guess in regards to time management, understand the training age and what you're trying to achieve. I guess if you're setting up run-throughs for little leaguers, very precise run-throughs and movements, it's probably not going to be very attractive for little leaguers as opposed to your under-18 session. Okay, so just understand, I guess, the training age there. So that's it. Time management as well, I guess. Can you plan yourself before the session starts, your time management while the session is actually happening? What can you put in place to help achieve high participation and get the most out of the kids for your session? But can you plan or start putting something in the process before you actually start delivering? So I guess we've already got, understand the time and equipment, location and group management, like grouping kids and understand how many players you got. What else do you have around you as coaches that you could possibly utilise to help speed up the process or to help give players a lot of repetition?
Assistant coaches or parents?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so I guess understanding human resources that are around you. So avoid the old days of, I guess, you as a coach, talk, everyone in a straight line, let you hit, and then kids gets about 10 balls out of 20, as opposed to just give the freedom to the kids to maybe roll the balls to each other or get an assistant coach and do it that way. And that frees you up as a coach to provide a lot of feedback as they're practicing or as they're going. Because as I said, if you do a whole bunch of talking at the start, they're only going to retain about 10% of that information. And even if you give a demonstration to match it up with that, it's still not a high percent as opposed to 90% of what we do. All right. Instruction. Okay, so I guess we've organised our area, we've set our station up, we're doing all sorts of stuff. I guess what about now instruction in regards to your session? How would you plan out your instruction for that? Or how would you see an instruction or a demonstration being delivered to the group? What are some steps or something to think about?
Short and clear.
Yeah, short and clear. What do you? I guess a 1 to 10 ratio. Is that what you're talking about? Like 1 minute talking, 10%. 10 minutes of.
You don't want to be babbling on for 15 minutes and do a 5-minute training session on it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that sort of makes sense. So that's probably one of the key things. Is just that I just would like you guys at the end of the day just at least keep that 10% in mind. Okay, of what people hear. Okay, so avoid rambling on too much. It's pretty much what we're doing today, but we're giving you a whole bunch of resources and information that you guys can take home and throughout the course of the next 10 weeks, we'll put it into practice. Okay. Also, I guess the common theme with all three of them is understand the training age, okay, and the session goals. Okay, if your instruction doesn't match up once again to that training age or your session goals, you're not going to get much out of the kids, and you're speaking gobbledygook to a lot of them. All right. It doesn't hurt too, I guess. I shouldn't say it doesn't hurt. I guess it's strongly recommended that you do it as opposed to you just talking as well. You actually give a full speed demonstration. Okay. Now keep in line using human resources. If you can't give a full speed demonstration, does that make you a bad coach? Yes or no? Who reckons yes? A full speed demonstration. If you can't do a full speed demonstration, does that make you a bad coach? So what can you do in that? What can you do in that situation? Yeah, use a player that does pretty well, or grab another coach or someone that can help out in regards to that.
Use
All
a
right.
player that's misbehaving.
Yeah, right. Last thing, I guess stage 3. So I guess we've gone through our time management. We set ourselves up. I guess we haven't got a lot of time, especially if you guys have been involved in the QBA for a period of time. There is not a great deal of time to do a lot of that stuff, but it's just more based around lots and lots of practice. So I guess time management is key. So if you're given a task or a certain area, if you can set yourself up and get yourself going right there and then, you're on the front foot straight away. In regards to instruction, just try minimal instruction. Try 3 points to work with, and then that's it. If they do something a little bit different outside of the 3 points, as long as they're not in danger, that's okay. As long as you just address the 3 points that you're working on, it's okay, because the players will eventually get there, and then you can progress and advance to the other certain areas that you might be working on. Okay, and then providing feedback at the end. Providing feedback, I guess, be patient with providing feedback, unless the player is in danger of hurting themselves. Feedback, I guess, as Andy said, and I think I've written it down as well, the 10 hours, the 10 years, 10 hours, the 10 years approach, all right, and then the 30,000 repetition, all those figures that come about in regards to muscle memory and retaining, all that sort of stuff. I guess just allow time to practice, allow time for the athletes to evolve. As I said, we haven't got them for a great deal of time, but we might as well maximise and utilise that time effectively, and that's just really just lots and lots of practice. And we're just there just to, I guess, provide instruction on the run and provide feedback on the run as well.
That's where feedback is great, because you can give your instructions together as a group and then let them go out there and play, but while they're still doing it, you can still give them feedback. Feedback will be most effective if it's done as close to the execution of that skill as possible. So if you, for instance, have them execute something and they do it either good or bad and you give them feedback about it, it will be most effective if it happens immediately after they do it, as opposed to go back and talk to them 10 minutes later. It's still good to give them that feedback 10 minutes later if that's the only opportunity that you get. But in a coaching situation, this is a perfect, particularly if it's positive feedback, right there on the spot while they're in the group. Batesy, good job out there, mate, on that PFP, that was beautiful. Stuff like that. That's still feedback. That's knowledge about their results. He did a good job, let him know that, and that will help reinforce that as something that he should continue to try and do. Right, so feedback is a great one. It's fantastic. You keep your instructions relatively short at the start, and then just let them go out there and practice, but give them loads of feedback as you're on the run. And that's what I think is great about what Shayne's talking about. You can help reinforce positively when they execute it correctly, even more so than, again, if we're talking about kids who are at the cognitive or associative stage, they're going to make a lot of mistakes, and that's okay. Particularly the younger kids, even more so the younger kids. But if you reinforce when they do it correctly, and we'll talk about the reinforcement stuff next week, positive learning environments and all that sort of stuff, but that's a way that you can really get lots of feedback out there and trying to implant in their brain, reinforce when they're doing something correctly. And that's something we'll talk about next week.
Sweet. Yeah, just one last, I guess last thing we'll do creative, positive learning next week. Yeah. Just, I guess the last part in regards to providing feedback. I guess, can you instruct and provide feedback at the same time within a session?
Yes.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. So I guess even if you get to a stage where the players understand what's going on, then you don't have probably really any instruction with what we're doing. It's just there's our activity. We've done this activity a fair few times now. This is the triangle drill, for example. We're going to run the triangle drill, and then you, I guess, with your 3 key teaching points, you can provide that throughout the course of the session as well as provide feedback on what we're doing.